Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, this is Eddie Marcus. Look, I'm going to speak to you as a representative for heaven on earth. The subject matter that I'd like to speak to you today on, I called it Hide and Go Seek. Hide and Go Seek. The reason I chose that subject matter is because there are so many people in the world today, there are so many people in America today, that a few got, it appears as their hands into everything. And it seems that the masses got some of it, and there are those who got nothing. And it appears to me as though this is happening because somebody says, well, God put us all here on the earth and turns us loose and say, your body will teach you what you need, and your conscience that I've given you, the intellect that I've given you a little bit, will guide you to go and find it. And, I think if you want a better description of it, think about what Donald Trump says. Donald Trump says that you got to go into that arena of the competition. And you can compete, you win, you got the stuff, and everybody else is subject to you. He always, in another example he used, was going into war someplace. And if you defeat the people that you fought against, then you own the spoils, especially if it's oil and stuff like that. Now, this is what I call hide and go seek. And this is the same authority that I rest on people who read. I don't know how they put it in the Bible, but they put it there that God is like a man. That man is made in the image of God. And you believe that because you read that in the book and somebody told you it was coming from God. And you believe it. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to me. I'm going to give you a good example now. God is no more of a man. God is no more of a man than Jesus Christ is white. It just ain't happening. Jesus Christ ain't white, even if he lived. God is no man. Now, the reason that you were told that God is a man is because man wanted to have dominance over the female. The reason that you told that he was told that he was white is because white wanted to have control over everybody else. And I'm going to tell you, man and white folks in this country have really screwed it up. Now, I can assume that the rest of the world has the same basic failures. I say that because we all go through the same things. It doesn't matter what system we're living under. It ends up being the same. Now, some people say, well, what about Africa, where all the black people live and other people? Well, I tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, all I know is this. Where there is no peace for everybody, where there's no prosperity for everybody, where there's no freedom for everybody, where there's no joy for everybody, where there are no fulfillment of dreams for everybody, it ain't nothing but hell. It's in your house and in my house, whether it's in America or any other oka. It ain't loving. And it's a crying shame. And so that's why I speak to you about heaven on earth, ladies and gentlemen. Heaven here in Minnesota. Heaven here in the United States of America. Now, what does that mean? That means that we got to change things. People like Donald Trump, we got to get them out of power. In fact, all white people who got a lot of stuff, these billionaires and trillionaires and multi-billionaires, they got that because they're so smart. The only thing they were smart about, ladies and gentlemen, is lying and deceiving people who didn't have a consciousness of God to understand what the truth is. We are... How many people you know that's hurting today? How many people you know that's got somebody sick today, really low sick, and you are a relative, and they are distance from you, and you can't go see them? How many of you know somebody like that? How many of you know somebody that's dying today and don't even have the wherewithal to be buried? How many of you know somebody like that? How many of you know somebody like this, ladies and gentlemen, who got caught up in this winter of 2019 and having all kinds of problems behind it. Floods and what you call mudslides and forest fires and you name it. Everything is happening. The people are helpless. And this man-made God ain't sufficient to do the job. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I call every last one of you, every black man, every black woman, and when I say black, I'm talking about all of those shades, all of that in between. And I'm even calling the white man, ladies and gentlemen. I'm calling the white women, but they can't lead as far as I know. Reason I say that is because they're calling themselves leading right now. And I see what's happening in the White House. I see Donald Trump come in with some of those same old lies that I said I wasn't going to talk about again, but I am. Same old lies, and how the whole Senate is following him. And they're going to take this nation straight to hell. It's already there, but it's going deep and deep in hell if you don't wake up. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you at, and you go to church, wherever you at and you go to church, and there's a man or a woman standing up there with a book open, talking to you about some Bible stories and trying to talk to you about God, they are lying. They don't know what they're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. They don't know what they're talking about. And I say to you, everybody that hears my voice today, if you believe that God was able to talk to somebody in olden days, if he was able to tell them, write this down, and don't change anything, if you believe that, and you don't believe that God can talk to you, what do you think that says about you? What do you think that says about you? God tell you that somebody can have own $53 billion and you can't get health care, you can't get food, you can't fix up your house, you can't even paint it, you can't even get the mice and the rats out. What kind of God is that? Who of you claim a God like that? Let me ask you, poor folks, is that your God? Yes, it's your God. You've been blindly accepting that. You're waiting for God to come down and do for you what Donald Trump is doing for all the haters. To come to deliver you. And deliver you from what? From the oppression and from the clutches of bondage from others. But that's not all you expected. You're expecting them to do something to others and punish them for what they've done to you. Ladies and gentlemen, they've only done to you what you allowed them to do. Let me ask you, how many of you got children? How many of you love your children? How many of you hate your children? How many of you can't stand your children? How many of you just want to kick your children out of the house? How many of you want your children to be begging for food? How many of you want your children selling drugs or doing drugs, opioids? How many of you want that to happen for your children trying to find some comfort in life? How many of you want your daughters prostituting? How many of you want that? Not a single one of you want it, but you got it. And why do you have it? Because you accept it. And why do you accept it? Because you listen to a man God. You listen to people being God. And I'm telling you, boy, health partners. Oh, boy. Hello? December 5th, 2019. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I had made this vow that I wasn't going to talk about the past no more. But it's hard for me to discontinue talking about the past when we are still living in it. This, my friends, I want you to know is that it's time for us to change this country. And its effect in our living. Oh, man. Oh, man. Look, ladies and gentlemen, it hurts me. It hurts me so bad to be poor. But I am poor because I have chosen not to raise my hands up against you. You see, there is a way that the Spirit allows for heaven on earth, and there's a way that the physical allows for hell on earth. In America, do you know how many white people that you know stand up for health care for everybody, education for everybody, housing for everybody? You know any white people like that? Of course you do. There are some. But the ones in control, the ones who have taken everything from you, you think they're going to give it up? No way, Jose. Now, there has got to be a reason for this to happen. There has got to be a reason for this to happen. There's got to be a reason that the Creator of all things allowed this to continue to happen. It's got to be a reason. And it ain't just for your suffering, but maybe, just maybe, it is to wake you up. Let me ask you something. You are what you call alive. And you'll do anything to stay alive. But what does alive mean to you? It means that you eat because you need it to survive. Some of you can eat real well. Some of you can eat salmon croquettes. Well, what does it mean to be alive? Some of you got some clothing. Some of you dress real spiffy. Not like this. Some of you got nice houses. Not like this. And you like that. You might get 3 meals a day, 2 meals a day, or 1 meal a day, but it's all right. And if you're lucky, you might get a chance to have sex with somebody. And most of you think that's the greatest feeling ever done on earth. But none of you would want your children to suffer. And yet, God created us, His children, and we suffer. What can that reason possibly be? Well, if you studied it, you would find this happening. Those who love God, those who stand up for God in all situations. I ain't talking about sitting up in no church talking about you love God, about telling everybody God woke you up this morning. You didn't have to tell them that. They saw you. They know God woke you up this morning. I guarantee you one thing you didn't tell them. You didn't tell them a thing that you done for God, because you ain't done nothing for God, you crook. Oh man, look at me, trying to get back down on your game. Let me refrain from that. But what I want to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that everybody that really loves God gets killed. I mean, it's killed in battle, whether it has to do with you defending what is you have. Not trying to keep others from sharing in it, but from taking it or killing you. You're defending yourselves. Others, you just die. I think about the slaves when they were coming over here on those ships. Some of them just jumped off the boat. They weren't going to be a slave. God shouted, hallelujah. The natives, when they came over and started taking the land, some fought back and they were slaughtered. God said, hallelujah. Why? Because these were those who were not going to conform. They were not going to be slaves. They weren't going to conform to nothing that would take away their joy. And God said, hallelujah. And the rest of us here on earth today, we justified it in every kind of way. But we are nothing but slaves headed straight to hell, because that's where we deserve to go. Yet we're still here because we have the opportunity to change and become something brand new. But we have to make the choice. We have to take the steps. But our hearts got to be right. So we can work with our minds and get it right. Then our steps got to be right. Our hands got to be used for the beautiful things of life. And then, my friends, when we no longer give a stinking tale about walking around in these bodies suffering, walking around these bodies abusing other folk, then and only then can we have heaven on earth. There will be no heaven on earth with billionaires, trillionaires, and people that got nothing. There will be no heaven on earth when nations are robbing other nations, when people are taking control over nations of people. There will be no heaven on earth until you and I recognize the truth and rather die than the Constitution keep us in bondage. We'd rather die than to let a Bible keep us in bondage. No, I didn't say go killing nobody. But I said refuse to bend to anything that takes away your life, but not only your life, but your brothers and sisters' lives. You got to stand up for that. That's why these people are killed. And God says, hallelujah, my good and faithful servant, well done, because this whole doggone earth is designed to tear you down, make you look for a job, so you can do the things that people who don't have a job can't do. To put you... Well, somebody must be coming now. The dog barking. That's my alarm system. Maybe my daughter's getting off from school, so I'm going to close this right now, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to thank you for it and say goodbye.